I think the hardest part of this problem is trying to take the door and the door frame, which is a three-dimensional concept, and expressing it on a piece of paper, which is two-dimensional. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by trying to draw the door. And I'm going to draw it like this. You'll see why in a minute. We also have to draw the door frame, which is going to look something like this. And we know that the doors open at a 90-degree angle. So this is actually a 90-degree angle there. We know a bit more about what's going on here. The door is 4 feet wide. That means the door frame is also 4 feet wide. We know that the door is 7 feet high. So we know that all of these heights are going to be 7. And we're asked to find the greatest distance in feet from the outer top corner of the door to a point on the door frame. Well, the outer top corner on the door is this one right here. And the furthest part on the door frame has to be the lower left corner on the door frame. So we need to figure out what that distance is. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the distance from that point on the door frame with the lower left point on the door itself. And we're going to use a right triangle here. If we connect those 2 points, then we have a right triangle on the floor between the door frame's bottom, the door's bottom, and then the distance in between them. We can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the length of that third side. And those of you who've used it before many times know that this is going to be 4 root 2 feet because it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Next, we're going to look at another right triangle by connecting the 2 dots, the top part of the door with the bottom part of the frame. This ends up being a right triangle. I'm going to use the laser pointer to show it to you. This is a right triangle because this line segment is flat on the floor, and we know that the door is straight up, so this makes a right angle. And so we can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the distance d between that top corner of the door and then the bottom left corner of the door frame. And that's the distance that we want to find. Now if we use the Pythagorean theorem, we've got 4 root 2 squared plus 7 squared equals the distance d squared. If we take 4 root 2 and square it, root 2 times root 2 is 2. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 2 is 32. Plus 7 squared is 49 equals d squared. 32 plus 49 is 81. And we know that if d squared is 81, d has to equal 9, and that's answer choice B.